What happens when a prince dies and half of his treasures simply vanish? You are about to witness one of the most scandalous secrets of the British monarchy, the story of Prince Philip's collection that disappeared without a trace after April 9, 2021. Greek relics that had survived centuries, orders from 5 kingdoms, jewels gifted by European courts, all of it vanished as suddenly as it had appeared in his life. Buckingham Palace maintains deathly silence. Official sources refuse to comment, and according to anonymous sources, part of the valuables had been moved even during the prince's lifetime through Swiss banks and private depositories. Why did the inheritance of a man who stood at the center of British history for 73 years become a state secret? Prepare to learn details that have never been discussed publicly, because the truth about royal treasures is always more dangerous than the boldest speculation. At the dawn of the 1920s, when Europe was drowning in upheaval, a scene worthy of tragedy unfolded at the Athens port. Young Prince Philip's family hastily abandoning their doomed country. Old chronicles preserve only dry dates. By December 20, 1922, they were already aboard ship, leaving behind not only palaces but enemies, debtors, and coats of arms that would soon fade in foreign walls. They say part of the most precious relics left Greece hidden in old suitcases and garment bags, as each gold item could become either a passport to new life or additional evidence for customs officials. It was then that jewelry of elite Greek origin fell into Philip's family hands, pieces that in other families usually dissolved into obscurity. Genuine diamonds from the early 19th century, platinum brooches, necklaces bearing seals of royal workshops. Today, few know their true fate, and the inventory lists themselves often contradict eyewitness accounts. A Greek queen's servant claimed years later that one tiara never crossed the border, though documents showed it was stored in a London warehouse. Who would believe such a coincidence? However, when the family reached Britain, many items seemed to disappear. According to British archives, only a third of the declared relics were entered into local inventories. The remaining jewelry, according to anonymous sources, could have dissolved along the way through Europe. Too many dangerous hands reached for the Greek inheritance. What actually found refuge under British roofs remains a mystery that no one rushes to solve today. After all, inheritance that came from exile always carries the shadow of those who dared to take it away. But the story doesn't end there. When Prince Philip married Princess Elizabeth in November 1947, his personal collection was enriched with gifts that royal chroniclers preferred to keep quiet about. European courts competed in generosity. The Duke of Baden presented antique sapphire cufflinks. The King of Denmark gave a pocket watch with ancient Greek engraving. And from the Spanish Bourbons came a brooch that, rumor had it, they didn't dare show even at private receptions. These gifts never made it into official catalogs. Relationships between monarchical houses surviving post-war chaos were too delicate. Men's jewelry always remained a secret behind 7 seals, since unlike women's ornaments, they aren't displayed at parades and ceremonies. According to sources close to the royal house, Prince Philip kept rings with family crests, gold chains from the Byzantine period, and orders received not through diplomatic protocol, but as personal tokens of respect from fellow officers. When journalists tried to learn details, Buckingham Palace invariably responded, "The prince's private collection is not subject to public discussion." Particularly mysterious remained items connected to his Greek roots. There were tales of ancient coins transformed into medallions, religious relics, and even fragments of Byzantine mosaics set in modern frames. According to a former servant's memories, Prince Philip sometimes retrieved these items from a secret safe and examined them at length in solitude, as if seeking answers to questions he didn't dare ask aloud. But exactly how many such treasures existed and where they were kept, no one knew except the owner himself. However, an even greater mystery awaits us in the world of Prince Philip's orders, awards he received from 5 different kingdoms that, according to experts, could carry something more than mere symbolic meaning. Denmark awarded him the Order of the Elephant as early as 1947. Greece gave him the Grand Cross of the Order of the Redeemer, while Norway, Spain, and even Thailand added their distinctions to his collection. But it was around these regalia that the darkest rumors circulated. Former palace staff, speaking anonymously, claimed that certain orders were kept separately from the rest, in a special case that Prince Philip never showed anyone. Legends about the mystical properties of military decorations trace back to antiquity. But in Prince Philip's case, they took on special resonance. According to sources familiar with the situation, one of the orders, presumably of Greek origin, allegedly contained a relic fragment connected to Byzantine emperors. The prince himself never mentioned this publicly, but several times he was observed touching a particular insignia on his chest during especially tense official ceremonies, as if seeking support or protection from invisible dangers. The most mysterious episode remains from 1998, When one of the most significant order insignia disappeared from Prince Philip's private collection, no official statement followed, but Scotland Yard sources confirmed an investigation into the disappearance of a valuable item from the royal residence. 6 months later, the award mysteriously returned to its place, but heraldry experts who subsequently examined it noticed barely perceptible differences in enamel and metal, as if the original had been replaced with a skillful copy. When auction houses Sotheby's and Christie's refused to comment on the appearance of similar lots in their catalogs, it became clear the history of these orders was far more complex than the official version. While experts puzzled over the authenticity of regalia, behind Buckingham Palace walls a far more earthly but no less fierce battle was raging: the war over Prince Philip's inheritance. Just a month after his death on April 9, 2021, royal circles began talking about how not all jewelry from his collection made it into official inventories. According to sources close to the family, the first disputes began even before the funeral. Who had the right to Greek relics, direct heirs or relatives from continental Europe who suddenly declared their claims to historically Greek heritage? Anonymous statements from family members that leaked to the press painted a picture of real drama behind closed doors. One relative who wished to remain unknown claimed, "Philip always said that certain things belonged not to Britain but to his true homeland. But when it came time to search for these things, half of them had simply evaporated." Another source, someone from Queen Elizabeth II's closest circle, reported on condition of strict anonymity that officials knew perfectly well about the existence of secret safes. But after the prince's death, many of them turned out to be empty, as if someone had taken care of their contents in advance. Meanwhile, the press faced an unprecedented wall of silence. Not a single official representative of the royal house agreed to comment on questions about Prince Philip's inheritance. Even traditionally well-informed journalists from the Times and Daily Telegraph received only standard refusals. Private matters of royal family members are not discussed publicly. But it was precisely this stubborn silence that became the main evidence. After all, if there were nothing to hide, wouldn't they have denied the ridiculous rumors? The absence of official information, empty spaces in catalogs, disappeared inventory lists, all this formed a picture of carefully planned concealment of facts, a conspiracy in which the truth about Prince Philip's collection became too dangerous for disclosure. And while officials remained silent, in closed circles of collectors and antiquarian experts, rumors about secret operations to relocate valuables from Prince Philip's collection were heard increasingly often. According to anonymous sources in the banking sector, even during his lifetime, the prince could have used private depository services not only in London but also in Switzerland, where banking secrecy laws guarantee absolute confidentiality. They say that in one of the Zurich banks there is still a safe deposit box rented under a fictitious name, but with documents that could have belonged only to a member of the British royal family. Particularly intriguing remain stories about the mysterious golden suitcase that allegedly was transported several times between London and continental Europe during Prince Philip's final years. A former employee of one of the transport companies serving VIP clients, speaking anonymously, told how he twice accompanied cargo of special importance from Buckingham Palace to a Swiss bank, cargo so secret that even the guards didn't know its contents. According to him, the suitcase was heavy, metallic, with complex locks, and accompanied by documents bearing seals he had never seen before. But the most disturbing hints come from auction house experts who categorically refuse to discuss the appearance of certain lots in their catalogs. Over the past 3 years, closed sales at Sotheby's and Christie's have several times featured jewelry from a private European collection, without provenance, origin, and ownership history. When journalists tried to learn details, they received the standard phrase, "We maintain our clients' confidentiality." However, insiders claim that some of these items could have direct relation to royal collections. Their characteristics and artistic style were too specific. The silence of all key participants in the process became more eloquent than any confessions. But what actually disappeared from Prince Philip's collection, and did anything disappear at all? According to rough expert calculations based on scattered mentions in memoirs and archival documents, we could be talking about 30 to 40 valuable items that appeared in unofficial inventories but were never found after the prince's death. Among them, several order insignia, jewelry of Greek origin, rare pocket watches, and even religious relics that, according to rumors, had been passed down in his family from generation to generation. Loud theories circulating in collector circles have never received official confirmation. But this is precisely what makes them especially attractive to those who believe in the existence of secret operations with royal treasures. Some claim that part of the collection was secretly transferred to the prince's Greek relatives as compensation for lost inheritance. Others insist on the version about sales through intermediaries to replenish charitable funds. There's even an opinion that some items were transferred to secret museum collections, where they are stored under false names, awaiting a time when they can be shown publicly without scandal. Anonymous experts close to collectors of royal artifacts propose even more exotic theories. Allegedly, Prince Philip took care in advance that the most valuable items would never fall into the hands of official heirs, but were transferred to secret keepers, people who would be able to preserve their historical significance away from palace intrigues. According to this version, the collection didn't disappear but simply went underground, where it continues to exist parallel to the royal family's official history. Conspiracy theories go even further, claiming that the disappearance of jewelry was only part of a larger plan to conceal compromising materials connected. Two dark episodes in the prince's biography and his connections with questionable figures from the past, and so we remain with a pile of half-truths, hints, and unanswered questions that only plunge the story of Prince Philip's collection deeper into an atmosphere of mystery. What we know for certain is that most of his personal treasures never made it into the royal family's official catalogs, and the silence of all involved parties speaks volumes. We know about the existence of Greek relics, order insignia, gifts from European courts, but where they are now remains a mystery that even the most curious journalists aren't rushing to solve. The main questions still hang in the air like a sword of Damocles over the British monarchy's reputation. Did Prince Philip really secretly remove part of his collection from official control? Are the mysterious auction lots of recent years connected to his inheritance? And most importantly, who knows the truth about the fate of these treasures today, but prefers to keep quiet? Perhaps answers to these questions will surface in years to come, when current participants in the events pass away and archives finally open their secret vaults. For now, we can only speculate, discuss, build theories, and wait for new sensational revelations. After all, the history of royal treasures never ends. It merely transitions to a new chapter where each disappeared diamond could become the key to an even more captivating mystery. And who knows, perhaps your very comments and guesses will help shed light on one of the most intriguing puzzles of the modern British monarchy.